Hey, so this is a little bit of a redo. I did a Sylvie answering interesting questions based on a post that was on Reddit about the awkwardness of shadowboxing when you maybe aren't comfortable with it yet or don't really know what you're doing, and it's just super, super awkward to be told to go do something for a significant amount of time when you're really not comfortable doing it. When I do Sylvie answering interesting questions, I literally just grab a selfie stick, go and answer it, and so you can't really see me because I'm holding it. So Kevin and I thought we'd do a redo where you can actually see me and I can demonstrate a little bit of what I'm talking about in my advice about how to deal with shadowboxing as I actually shadowbox and show some of those things. So basically the post was about how being told to go shadowbox freestyle by your trainer is super awkward. It would be, for me as a non-dancer, being told to just go interpretive dance for 5-10 minutes. I have no idea what I'm doing, and you feel like you're being looked at, and you don't want to look at yourself in the mirror, and it's just super, super awkward. You just feel like you're trying to pull from everything. Something that I said in the first answer is that this freestyle is kind of a misnomer. We think that you can just pull from anything and there are too many options. So my first piece of advice was to kind of structure everything around a few combinations or combinations that you can tag little variations onto. So I was talking about how you can basically take something that's kind of you don't want to be doing the same combinations over and over and over again, but you can build around them. So if you have a jab, jab, teep, jab, cross, hook, teep, I'm kind of building everything around jabs here. You can simplify it even more. Take something that's jab, cross, knee, okay? What else can you do after a jab, cross, kick, jab, cross, hook? So basically you're taking your jab, cross as your structure, and then you can just tack on something on the end of it that, to people who don't know what you're thinking, it looks like you're freestyling, but you're actually cheating a little bit by just kind of having a structure that you're building off of. As you become more comfortable, you can pull in other combinations to piece those together. So that's kind of like a hands to leg combination. You can also put something together that's any kind of 3 kicks, right? So your combo is 3 kicks, but they can be any of them. So you can do something like teep, left kick, right kick, that's a combo. Or you can do right, teep. All of those are just 3 kicks. So you're thinking to yourself, go with threes. And again, from the outside, someone watching you thinks this is very freestyle, but really you're kind of pulling from the comfort of repetition. Something else that I talked about was about using footwork or focusing on your footwork. Kevin reminded me that we didn't know what footwork was for a really, really long time. If someone said, go do footwork, I would have no fucking idea what that was. So me advising someone who's already uncomfortable in shadowboxing to focus on footwork, you might not necessarily know what that is. On 8 Limbs Us, which is my blog, I wrote about Dewey, who was a formerly incarcerated person in New York who I met, who was wrongfully convicted, wrongfully accused, and he got out of prison after a very, very long time, but he had learned how to box in prison. Dewey was like an amphibian or something. A frog looks really weird on land, but then it goes in water and you go, oh, that is what that's for. Dewey was like this. Dewey was kind of uncomfortable being around people because he'd spent so much time in prison, he was just kind of odd. But he'd spent a lot of time learning how to box. And so he basically, his footwork, when he would get in the ring, and he's like, I spent hours just practicing. If I'm in the center of the ring, how many steps is it until my back hits the rope? How many steps is it this way until my shoulder hits the rope? This kind of stuff. When he got in the ring, it was just beautiful. So I stole from Dewey, counting or picturing how many steps it would be to catch up with someone. So I don't mean technical footwork, like doing correct footwork. I literally mean, while you're shadowboxing, we focus a lot on strikes, right? So we think we just have to be striking all the time. This is not actually shadowboxing. Shadowboxing has, or should have, a lot of in-between, which is moving in space like this. This is all footwork, right? This might look a little complicated. I'm basically square dancing with my feet. But what I want to be thinking if I'm just starting out, if I picture an opponent running away from me and they're there, how many steps do I have to take before I can land a jab? How many steps do I have to take before I can throw this kick? You can even take the same combos that you were just building off of, right? So if I want to land 3 kicks, what do my feet have to do in order to land those 3 kicks? If they're going to be 2 rights, someone's going to be running away from me, right? I have to cover that distance again, right? So you might not be able to throw all the strikes in a row. It might be jab, they ran away from you, catch up, jab, cross, this kind of thing. That's footwork, pivoting off, stuff like this. What I really like about bringing footwork into your consciousness for shadowboxing is that, one, it never goes out of style. If it's your first day shadowboxing, or if you've been shadowboxing for 2 decades, your footwork always, always makes you better. You can always get better at footwork. And it helps you on the bag, it helps you in sparring, it helps you in pad work, it helps everywhere. So learning that your footwork is important and that it's something you should and can concentrate on is great. But also, the thing about shadowboxing that's most awkward is that if I hit a bag with a hook and you like slam it, something stops your fist. Especially, it's very hard to kick and knee in shadow. You get all wonky because you're used to hitting something. If you knee and you hit a bag, you come back down like this, it's a totally different balancing act than if you try to knee in space and come down like this. Like, you have to get used to not hitting anything. So strikes can feel really awkward when you're shadowboxing because they don't get stopped by anything. Kicks too. You don't really look that awkward when you're working on footwork, right? So if you're self-conscious about all this striking, take the striking down a little bit and just fill in with footwork. Learn how to go backwards comfortably, forward, to the side comfortably. Footwork is really important. I also talked about visualization as a really important thing to work on, but it's also great when you're really awkward in shadowboxing, especially, again, it comes into this like freestyle is this super scary word because it feels like you're just gonna like sing an interpretive dance or like sing a song that you're making up as you go. I don't know. The thing about visualization is that it gives you a line of narrative or visualizing someone in front of you that you're responding to. So instead of, if you're told to say something in a language and you don't know what to talk about, my first bit of advice is recite a poem that you know, like take combinations. Another thing is picture a conversation with somebody. Someone just asked you, what are you doing today? Now you know what to answer. What are you doing today? Rather than just pulling literally any words out of the air that you can think of. Visualization is like creating a conversation with someone. So instead of having to think, oh my God, what will I throw? You're responding to someone. You might also have the, oh my God, what would they throw? Like, I have no idea. You can make it up. If you're uncomfortable making it up, if you're like, I literally don't know what someone would be throwing at me, you can watch a fight or you can watch a short clip on YouTube and just like copy paste what you see someone doing and visualize that coming towards you. So you see someone doing like a couple of kick things that you find really cool. You picture Sanchai's cartwheel kick. I don't know, how would you block that? Like, if you want to see it in front of you, I would do this and then kick him in the face. I don't know. So if you picture someone in front of you, you can think, where is their head? You know, where is their body that you're going to be responding to them coming at you? If they're going to be kicking you, you want to block, but their leg is coming down, so now you know what your next move is in answer to that. Coupled with this is something that I talked about, which is using the mirror. I don't have a mirror, so I'm going to use the lens as my mirror. Instead of using the mirror as like self-evaluation of how weird do I look doing my shadowboxing, use it as target practice. Don't use it for self-evaluation yet. So if I'm standing in front of a mirror, I'm picturing my opponent is basically the same size as me because I'm using my reflection. So I'm using it as target practice. So some people, like, they don't know where their strikes are going, right? Nobody's that awkward, but I'm making a point here. Instead, if I see my chin in the mirror, I'm going to be hitting my chin going around my own guard like this all the time, right? So I'm like using that as target practice. I see where my chest is, or I see where my belly is, and that's where my teep's going. I see where my leg is. That's where my leg kick is going, inside leg kick. You're basically taking your reflection and turning it into a like virtual bag person in front of you that you can use for target practice. And then as you start having more of that in your body, then you can come away from the mirror, not look in the mirror, and again, use that visualization for the same kind of response and target practice kind of thing. As you become more comfortable with shadowboxing, then you can start using the mirror for self-evaluation. Do my fakes look real? Like, does this look like something that someone actually thinks my weight's coming forward? Does my real teep, which looks like this, versus my fake teep, which looks like this, they don't look the same. You want them to, real teep, fake teep, look the same. So that's my actually acting out demonstration of my Sylvie answering interesting questions. If you guys have any follow-up questions or anything like that, definitely post on the Muay Thai forum, the Roundtable forum. We'll put a link in the description. And thank you guys for watching.